Greetings all. I am Ruger coming to you from the Bunker Complex. Hey, today is September 26, 2020. So, a lot of conflict out there, a lot of chaos, a lot of uncertainty. I would contend to you that desperate times would call for a radical strategy. And that's what I want to talk to you today about. I'm going to throw out a radical strategy. How would things be different in the public discourse that we're seeing in the public square today? How would we treat one another? What would the news cycle and the news reports, what difference would be seen if we were actually to soften our hearts and actually treat one another with trust? So that's the radical strategy I want to throw out today. I'm going to be referencing a book by Stephen M.R. Covey. It's called The Speed of Trust. And I would contend to you that if, in fact, you were to do something crazy like get this book and read it, or even just did some research online, or perhaps maybe you would just practice a few of the behaviors that Stephen M.R. Covey outlines in the book, I would contend that your relationships and your personal relationships, your family, in your businesses, in your communities, here in your United States or your country, and maybe even in a small way in the world, those relationships would improve and things would be better. So Stephen M.R. Covey actually is the son of perhaps the more famous Stephen Covey, who is a famous author and speaker. Stephen M.R. Covey actually is a very distinguished and established businessman, author, and speaker in his own right. So he has done a wonderful job of compiling a life-changing book, in my opinion, and outlines many of the benefits that occur when we actually extend trust. So there's a lot of principles and behaviors in this book. I'm not even going to attempt to do them justice, but I do want to talk about a few of the behaviors. I think that if we were just to practice a few of these behaviors and were aware of a few of the principles, that things would dramatically improve. So 13 behaviors. Behavior number 1, simply talk straight. So say what you mean what you say. Don't try to manipulate people. Don't try to get them to do things and act the way you want them to act, with hidden agendas and through manipulation. And use language that people can understand. Let's not try to prove how smart we are to each other by using language that is flowery and hard to understand. Let's just talk plainly, so there's no misunderstandings. Number 2 is going to be a big one, and that is to demonstrate respect. This one alone, just by itself, common sense. But think back on any relationship where there was not mutual respect. And I would almost bet you that relationship really was not good, probably. And almost certainly was not everything that it could have been. Excuse me. So just a common sense of demonstrating respect. If we simply respected one another and extended that trust to one another, the trajectory that we're on in this country, I would contend, would be vastly different. Number 3 is creating transparency. Again, trusting one another without hidden agendas. Just, again, going back to speaking plainly. Say what you mean what you say. Let's be transparent. Let's not have hidden agendas. Let's not try to manipulate people and get them to, trick them into acting the way that we want them to act. Now, number 4 is a big one. Number 4 is going to be righting wrongs. If something's not right, make it right. Let's fix it. Things are not going to change unless we make things better. If it continues, if the wrongs are continuing today, let's stop that behavior. Let's make sure that we get it figured out. If wrongs had been done in the past, let's make them right. Move on. Things, if things are continually wrong, we're not going to make any progress. So let's make sure that we right past wrongs. Show loyalty. This is one that is going to pay more dividends to you when you exhibit this behavior than the benefits you're giving other people. If you show loyalty to others, people know that they're observing your behaviors, and if you show loyalty to them, that's going to come back to you tenfold, and really you are going to benefit by showing loyalty to others, because then in turn others will show loyalty to you. Number six is deliver results. So show up every day. This is how we build trust. Show up every day, do your best. Have a pure heart, have a soft heart. Try to do what's right. Make sure that we care about our fellow man, fellow woman. Do the right thing and get things done. And if you do that, people will look upon you and have trust in you. And your relationships will improve dramatically. So just deliver results. Number 7 really feeds into this. So just get better. Get a little better every day. My personal development plan is, I try to read. I try to practice skills. I work on my prepping. I try to do things that I'm not good at and get better at them. I try to perfect the things I am good at. But that's my own personal plan, self-development plan. Your path is going to be totally different than mine. But every day I think we can get just a little better. We can get out there and deliver results. We make mistakes. Let's learn from those mistakes. Let's take accountability for our mistakes. Let's move on. And next day, get up and try again. So number 8 is going to be confronting reality. The truth is the truth. There are no versions of the truth. And certainly our biases, our experiences, our desires, our hopes, and our dreams are going to influence how we perceive that truth. But at the end of the day, there is one truth. And confronting that reality and having those discussions and having that discourse in a civil way really is going to make all of us better. So there is one truth, and let's make sure that we don't draw a line in the sand where our truth is absolutely the only one that is absolutely true, because everyone has their own biases, their own experiences, their own hopes and dreams. Number 9 is clarify expectations. Now, we here in the United States, in the Western world, in the modern world, we certainly have been given so many blessings. I would contend that the folks today, with the modern material blessings that we have, and those of us living in free democracies, we are the most blessed and luckiest people that have ever walked the earth. And with those blessings, with everything that we have been given, also comes some responsibility. How do we use those blessings? Certainly we need to celebrate and be happy and live full lives. But are we using our blessings to make things better? To take care of our fellow man and woman? To creating a world where our children and grandchildren can thrive, and where they can be even more blessed than we are? So certainly clarifying those expectations of how we conduct ourselves and what we give back, because we've been given so much, I believe is very important. Number 10 is practice accountability. Let's take accountability for our own actions and not blame our circumstances. And additionally, let's hold each other accountable. not in a I got you way, but in a way that makes one another better, where we can get better every day and point out maybe blind spots in our fellow man, fellow woman, and help them work on those things. And then invite them to hold you accountable. When you make mistakes, admit your mistake, learn from it, move on. We all make mistakes. I would contend we make mistakes every day, probably every one of us. But let's take accountability for that. And when we need to, apologize, learn a lesson, dust ourselves up, and away we go. Let's do it better. Now, number 11, if you get nothing else from this video, this simple, common sense behavior that's been around forever would absolutely change the state of affairs that we're in today. And that is simply to listen first. If we were to listen first, and then go ahead and, maybe demonstrate some respect to other folks, how different would things be? How much further along would we be to creating a better world, a better society, making things better for our children, our grandchildren, the generations to come? Simply listening first before we get angry, before we go from 0 to 100 and our anger comes out and we draw that line in the sand and we close our ears and we close our minds to what the other person is saying. If we simply sought to understand first, things would be so different today. I think that's a big one. The last two, keeping commitments, yeah. Again, being consistent, keeping your commitments. Say what you mean what you say. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Keeping commitments, that is going to build a trust account that others have in you. And that's going to pay dividends to you. Not only does it serve the folks around you, but that's going to come back to you again, once again, tenfold. Now, number 13, this is a prepper channel. And this, I don't want to stereotype. I don't want to group people into, lump them all together. But I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that perhaps preppers are not the most trusting folks in the universe. I know that I'm not. But these skills, these behaviors can be learned and practiced. And I think we all can benefit from them, especially preppers. But number 13 is going to be extending trust. So things are not going to change. Things are not going to improve until someone exhibits behavior that is different than what we're doing today. So by extending trust, and I'm not talking about being naive, allowing people that, to take advantage of you. But what I am saying is, I do believe the vast majority of people want what is best. We might not agree on it. We certainly, like I said, do not agree on the path going forward. But let's extend that trust that their heart is pure. Their intentions are correct. Let's extend that trust, and that trust will come back to us. And then we can sit down. We don't have to agree. I'm not asking anyone to compromise their principles, but change their worldview. But what I am asking everyone is to take a radical approach. Listen to your brother and your sister, and exhibit a few of these behaviors. If you spend some time in this book, if you do your own research, and I think if you just practice 3 of these, and you can start doing it today, doesn't take a lot of research, this is just common sense. If you were to demonstrate respect, if you were to listen first, seek to understand, and if you would do something as radical as extending trust, things will improve. Things will improve in your relationships. Things will improve in your families, in your workplace, in your school, in your communities. Things will get better. It can happen. I'm asking you today, if you're watching this video, if you made it this far along, I'm asking you today to take a step back from the ledge. Take a breath. Open your ears. Listen first. Open your mind. Walk with me. Try these radical steps. And let's make things better. Viewers, subscribers, this is I Am Rugged coming to you from the Bunker Complex. Please leave your comments down below. Tell me what I've done well here, what I can do better, what you're doing, what you think we can do better to make life, society, the future better. And as always, let's be careful out there.